What's up, people? Welcome back to another episode clip of Pre the Podcast. And you know what I'm going to say? Make sure you like, comment. I don't think this setting is actually going to work for what we've got planned going on. 1 second. Let's see if the sword can really cook.
Dark magic. Dark cloak. Dimension flash!
Now with that out of the way, make sure you click the link in the description to listen to the full podcast episode, and I'll see you guys on the other side. So we talked about Sancho, we've talked about Varane. Now the big Don, the big boy.
You want to bamba? You wanna G with the big boys?
You are now listening to Breathe the Podcast with your host Mujaro.
What's up, people? Welcome back to another episode of Pre the Podcast. And you know what I'm gonna say? Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, because we're trying to build a community here. And by sharing this with your friends and family, that goes a long way in helping us do that. And without further ado, let's get into it. And we've got a good one for you guys here today. I'm here with Conor McCaughey, and I'm here with Matthew Hemmaty. And today we're going to discuss the unfortunate passing of Manchester United's 2021 to 2022 Premier League season. Just one moment of silence. Now, with that out of the way, let's get into it. Obviously, we failed at the European stage, but when the transfer window opens, that's when optimism starts again. That's when we get dragged back into the cycle. So, the first signing we make was Jadon Sancho from Borussia Dortmund. So, when that signing was made, we had been screaming for a right winger. We need a right winger. The right hand side is dead. We're one dimension. We only go through the left with Rashford and Luke Shaw.
They all wanted to play left, didn't they?
Exactly. Martial. Everyone wanted to come off the left and shoot on the right foot. So you're thinking, yes, buying Jadon Sancho, that solves that issue. So what do you think of that Jadon Sancho signing then?
I like Jadon Sancho. He's a bit on the expensive side. He still has a lot to prove, in my opinion. But he is a good player for the years ahead, and if he lives up to potential, we've got a great signing. Yeah, but we have to see.
This is 2022, Matt. Speaking of this, is you in 2021. this is you now. You thinking Sancho's still a good potentially a good signing?
Back then, let's go with back then. Back then.
Why would you say he's had a really bad season?
Yes.
We'll get onto that. We'll get onto that.
I want to hear the
But back then, you saw the logic behind it. Did you see the logic behind it?
I saw the logic behind it because we had Martial, we had Greenwood, we had Rashford, but you said they all wanted to play the same position. They wanted to play out left, played through the middle sometimes. Nobody played out right. It was imbalanced. We don't have a Trent Alexander-Arnold as a right wing back. We don't have a Cancelo. We had Wan-Bissaka, who was never very good going forward. So yeah, we needed a good dynamic right winger. My thing about Sancho, we had discussions about Sancho. That wasn't against him. I was like, yeah, fine. Let's see what he brings. As you said, expensive for 70 million. You know, you want top, best in the class. Yeah. My thing about Sancho was, you can only judge what your eyes were seeing, and I personally didn't watch Bundesliga that often. Sancho was a bit part player for England. I think he started one game in the Euros against Ukraine. He had good stats in the Bundesliga, Champions League. I think Bellingham had probably outshone him in the Champions League for Dortmund. I hadn't seen too much of Sancho and Haaland as well. I hadn't seen Sancho really up his game in the Champions League, so that immediately is a concern. Hadn't done that well for England. Obviously, there was a formation and a style at Dortmund that suited him. Let's face it, Dortmund's a bit of a farmers' league. A lot of it, most of the league is a bit of a farmers' league.
I'm not gonna lie. When we bought Borussia Dortmund players, like the last one was Kagawa.
Didn't work.
Mkhitaryan
didn't work,
bro. When those two signings,
Chelsea hasn't worked either.
Those two signings, we were like, yes, we've got the best creative outlet at that time, and when they come, it doesn't quite work out that way.
Yeah, no, and for me, Sancho has been a disgrace. Quite frankly, he's been shambolic.
He's bloody useless.
He didn't start well. He had a bit of a better period
middle of the season.
For me, you say he's want to build around going for maybe might come good for me. I cash in on him now. You need to
controversial.
You need to fund the revolution. You need to fund what's going to happen. United don't just need 2, 3, 4 players. They need 7.
Comrade Conor here.
Comrade General. A new world order awaits.
Yeah, for me, the longer Sancho's there, the more the asset will depreciate. So just get rid of him now. For me, you'll still get 60 million for him.
So you will take a loss.
I'd take a loss.
Do me a favor, please. Get out of here. Get out of here, man. Shit, I'm saying.
You're not
One season though. One season.
Yeah, for me, maybe
Fair enough.
for me.
Okay, then, if you feel that way about Sancho, what about Rafael Varane? Champions League Varane. Everyone, the Rolls Royce. Everyone's thinking he's going to be our Van Dijk. And at the time, was it 40, 50 million? He's on a last year of his contract, so we got him at that discounted price. When we got him and Arsenal got whoever they got, Tomiyasu for Ben White for 50. We all you guys are in the mud. We got a Champions League winner, five time. But he came through. We're thinking, yes, perfect partnership for Harry Maguire. Pace, strength with Maguire. Technical aspects of the game with Varane. You're thinking
winning mentality. He won before. Won a lot. Yeah.
So what do you think about it?
Well, Varane had a really difficult job because your defence is only as strong as your weakest link.
Oh, bro. It's so true. It's so
really
true.
Not what you want. No. To be honest, the problem with United, I go back to it again, is all the different philosophies, etc. And if you ever watch Man United's defensive line, it's not a line.
It's like a U shape.
Yeah, no, but Harry Maguire comes all the time into midfield, tries to win the ball, fails, there's a gap. That's it. You're outnumbered. The game's over. It's a goal.
Best exemplified by that game against Liverpool when they're 4 down inside half an hour.
Yeah.
Half of them wanted to press, half of them stayed back, and then you just had their front three just thinking, "Well, I'll go in here, I'll go in there," and they just picked us apart.
And what worries me about I know a question about Varane, but I think it's really important to make is why is Harry Maguire making that same run the whole time to press the ball in midfield? To be fair, it's probably a failing of our midfield players. They should be pressing the ball.
Yeah,
it's laziness.
Oh my god! Don't even get me started on the midfield.
Don't
even get started on the midfield.
As for Varane, he was okay. He wasn't terrible, but again, it goes back to the bigger picture, which is a lot of the defensive failures as a whole within the team. I don't put it down to Varane. He doesn't become a rubbish player overnight. I think there's other problems in the team. I don't know about you.
I'd agree. Varane, of the United players I want to keep, there's only 3 of them in the first 11. We'll get later on, but I'm saying Varane is one of them because I feel like I actually barely the games I watched, and I feel like he wasn't even playing. He's injured a lot, wasn't he? He had a lot of niggly injuries.
Yeah. Even that was the worry for a lot of people. Everyone's saying, well, his injury record isn't great. Like last year, they were like, and the defenders right now are, I think, the 2 Brazilian centre backs. One for Real Madrid. They got rid of Varane and Alba in the same season and replaced them with, I think, 2 Brazilian brothers. Militao and someone else. And they haven't literally looked back since. So Real Madrid don't give out their players that they really want. Like Ramos, they left him.
That's a good point.
And he's done nothing at PSG. So already I reckon that should have been a red flag, to be honest. But he's serviceable. He's He's not bad. The injury is where my concern is.
Yeah, and it didn't help. As Matt kind of touched on, it doesn't help that he's playing alongside a Muppet. I mean, he's playing alongside a guy who actually, I'm not actually one of Maguire's biggest haters. That's a different issue. But he was all right for 2 seasons, but last season, whatever, I don't know whether it was I
think his head is still in Mykonos
stuff or whatever. Head's still in Mykonos maybe, but he was dreadful. And you've got other centre halves there that aren't good enough either. And then Varane was very injury prone. So I'd stick with him for a season, see what his motivation's like. But yeah,
So you stick with him for a season and not give Sancho that extra season?
I can see where you're coming from. I can see that like saying.
See, this is why I'm the host. I'm pushing you guys.
Yeah, for me, Varane. For me, Sancho is. If you look at I'm thinking business side from an asset point of view. Sancho is still worth. I think probably 4-year contract, was it 4 or 5? At least 4. Yeah. So you can still get good money for him. Varane, especially if he's got a few more injuries, you're not really going to get any money for him. So I say, as you said, he doesn't become a bad player overnight. So stick with him. Get something decent beside him, and I'm sure we'll talk about this later. I've got a few names in mind that we probably won't sign, but I've got a few names that would work. So yeah, stick with him. He's not going to become a bad player overnight. Give him a chance. Yeah.
Okay. So we talked about Sancho. We've talked about Varane. Now the big Don, the big boy.
You want to bamba? You want to G with the big boys?
Mr. CR7 Cristiano Ronaldo.
Cristiano Ronaldo,
Zooey. My man came back. The prodigal son has returned to Manchester United. I remember the day. I was literally on the way to, I think it was Bath. Yeah, Bath. Took a little holiday day trip to Bath. Seen the historical sites around there. And then on the driveway home, I look at my phone while Charlotte's driving, and I'm like, Cristiano Ronaldo, Manchester United? What? Because before it was
City.
Yeah, he was going to City. I was like, oh, hell no.
Yeah.
They've won the league already. I mean, they've already won the league for the past 3 seasons or whatever. So when it was like a massive U-turn and it's like CR7's coming back to the Theatre of Dreams, I'm like, wow, this is amazing. CR7's back. We're going to win the league. We've got Varane. We've got Sancho. We've got providers. We've got defensive reinforcements. But let's just stick with Ronaldo. We got Ronaldo. Mr. Goals FC. So for me, I was like, when he left, that's when I started really getting into football. So I was, admiring him from a distance and reliving the glory days through highlights and stuff like that, the free kicks, the skills. And I was like, yes, we've got him back. But obviously, he's a different player now. He's more of a striker and goal scorer and a poacher. But when he came, I was optimistic. I was like, yes, we've got a legitimate striker now. He can take the striking spot while Greenwood, develops into that role, coming off the right, and then he'll become central. I think we are allowed to, because they're all allegations at the moment. All allegations. Yeah. But yeah, you're thinking he's the senior striker, comes in for 2 years or whatever, shows the winning mentality, shows people the way, becomes a leader, and everyone goes into one seamless, way and seamless,
they follow his
lead. Yeah, exactly. So that's what I was hoping for, and that's what I was expecting. What were you guys thinking when he came?
For me, always loved Ronaldo, and loved the fact that we signed him. I mean, I was sitting there, I remember the day I was working from home. Once those rumours started, I didn't do much work. In the morning, I thought he was going to City, despair. After obviously United Hope, I knew it wasn't going to be as simple as us just signing Ronaldo to win the league. I just knew it wasn't going to work like that. But I thought he'd score goals, and I thought he'd be a positive influence. To be honest, he has been. If it wasn't, and like this is a big debate. That is he the reason that United went from being second to sixth because the style of play didn't? So I think that's a load of tosh. Quite frankly, it just isn't. He's the reason we didn't finish 13th and come fourth in our Champions League group. Quite frankly, he's the greatest of all time. He's still one of the, as we speak today, he's still one of the top 5 in the world.
To this day.
And just bouncing off a few of Midge's points about being a positive influence, he would be a positive influence if our young players actually didn't have such an ego, and if our young players actually listened to people. But I knew that you're not going to go to Anthony Martial, Marcus Rashford, even Sancho coming in big money. You're not going to go to them and say, this is what you're doing at the minute. You're good. You might think they're good. Okay. You're good. This is how you can get better. Those players, it's not that. It's not. we're not in that kind of world. People don't listen to experienced players. People listen to their agents. People listen to their own ego. Ronaldo, he can't come in and just patrol a dressing room and just, feed off his people feeding off whatever it is he brings. They're just not as good as Ronaldo. It's as simple as that. And I think that's also become clear that the individuals there to feed off them aren't good enough. And you can't build a team around a 37-year-old, 36, 37-year-old. So my feelings on Ronaldo is great season. I'd happily have him going forward for another year, and then if he wants to, if that turns into a coaching role, I don't think he's going to go.
That's a coaching
role. Not as in terms of manager, but if he wanted to, I don't think he'll do that. I think he's too big of a brand to do that. But I would love to have him, but you cannot build a team around someone of that age. Also, and again, this is linked to stuff we'll probably talk about later, but when Ronaldo doesn't play, you can't play him every game, but when he doesn't play, there's a massive story. What's happening with Ronaldo? Is there dressing room fallout? Is he not happy? Are people not happy with him? No, he should be playing about 50% of the games, scoring goals like he was when he did play, be fresh for other games, then have other people step up to the plate and build the style of play more around the younger players, the newer players.
But that's one of the problems with signing a player like Ronaldo. Not there's positives and negatives of that strong mentality of I can win, I can score us goals, I can be the difference. Is when you are aging, when you aren't got that pace or that first step, when you haven't got the ability to track back or do what new managers want you to do, pressure from the front and actually being part of a unit system instead of being the Galactical signing Ronaldo of this is your job and you only need to do this. Yeah. Everyone else is going to work for you. That happened at Manchester United. Tevez, Rooney did the legwork.
Park Ji-sung Park.
Happened at Real Madrid. Juventus. Even Juventus players and fans, they said when Ronaldo was leaving, they said, I think it was GG before, and they said, we tailored everything around Ronaldo, but it got to a point where we didn't even know how to play our own regular football anymore because it was just tailored towards him. We lost our own identity. We become essentially Ronaldo FC and just look for him all the time without, getting the rest of the team involved as much as you would like.
Well, they won league titles under Juve won league titles under Ronaldo. They finished fourth this season.
True.
So just my final point you make there about the press, and from what I've seen, Ronaldo was working harder than he was still working harder than the rest of them. You can carry it around Ronaldo. He can be that central figure, maybe not making as much work if you have players like Bernardo Silva, Mahrez, Salah, Mane around. We don't have that. We have Rashford, Sancho, Martial before he went on loan, Greenwood before everything else.
Who basically
they didn't work hard enough. They didn't want to be there. They weren't good enough.
You're right.
So yes, Ronaldo could have worked, but he didn't have the players around him, and that became abundantly clear.
Do you know why? Because when good point that I brought up there about Rashford and Martial and them working hard, because before Ronaldo was there, I thought they were working hard. I thought they were actually contributing going forward and backwards. But when you see Ronaldo in his 37 years of age and you've seen how hard he's trying at certain times, not all the time, but when he's really pushing himself, you can see it. But when Rashford and Martial are there or doing their thing, you don't see it like that. You see them now sulking, not tracking back. There are so many, we'll get into it, but there's so many times where Rashford would be on goal and literally that two yards to make up that ground to put in the back of the net, he just gave up. And that was the first time I saw that. And that's when I started to question him. That's when I was like, wow, if that was Ronaldo in that position, he would have bust a gun to get there. But,
Even if he knew he wouldn't have made it, he still would put the defender under pressure. And as footballers, if you play football yourself, if you're about to take a clean strike through on goal or whatever, you've got the ball, the opportunity's there right in front of you, and you've got a defender coming steaming at you.
You can hear the footprint.
Yeah.
Let's move to east. Storms get wet. I hear a footstep. All right, I'm at the top of the map.
If it puts you off, it's scary, stuff like that. So you still got to go for it. You've got to put all your effort in, and that's it. That's the point. It is scary. You're not going to win every challenge. You're not going to get every ball, but Ronaldo knows that, but he's still going to put every effort in.
And you saw him score a couple of goals like that.
Yeah.
So a couple of goals, tap-ins like that because he was just there at the right time. But Martial and Rashford just don't have that instinct to them, which is
and that all linked back as well, I think, to some of the issues, to stuff that happened under Solskjaer and beyond, that why that second place wasn't particularly representative is because we just relied on those moments of magic, those moments of someone cutting in, and it's like Pogba curling one in the top corner, or
Rashford,
one of his 10 chances, he might actually score one.
Martial
the same. So it wasn't sustainable, and I think that then has become very clear. So, and another thing, just while we're on this subject, Martial and Rashford, they both had a chance of being the number 9. They both had a chance of being the centre forward.
Yeah,
and they didn't want
they're not centre forwards.
They weren't good enough. They didn't actually want to do it. You hear stories of they both wanted to play out in the wings. If I had a chance to play, I don't care whether I would have grown up playing wing,
goalkeeper,
whatever. If you have the chance to play centre forward
for Manchester
United, one of the biggest
United,
clubs in the world, you do it. You do whatever it takes to do it. You stay behind after training. You learn off. Solskjaer was a striker himself. You learn off Solskjaer when he was manager. Sure. You learn off Ronaldo now. They weren't interested in doing that. That's a big red flag as well.
And before we just move on to you, we'll touch on that because I've got a good reasoning as to why that mental aspect of the game, because I feel like the game is very mental more than it is physical. Your mental frame or your mental that where your mental is really can affect your game. But what do you think of Manchester United signing Ronaldo?
I swear Manchester City have this game, right? They've got the big execs in the boardroom going, right, who do we want to get Man United to sign? Let's get them to sign Jadon Sancho. You know what? Let's pretend that we want Jadon Sancho, and then Man United just go extra and spend extra money on Jadon Sancho, and it doesn't work out. Let's get Ronnie. They'll spend the big money getting Ronnie back, and that'll sabotage them. But in the end, actually, Ronnie was a really good signing for us in so many ways. One, going to the commercial side, but I don't want to talk too much about commercial.
Yeah, like we all know what that brings.
Yeah, Man United is a commercial brand anyway. Like it doesn't need Ronaldo, but it's whatever. The footballing side, the disjointed performances on the pitch were terrible. But we had moments of brilliance from Ronaldo that saved us in that season. So, yeah, I think he was overall a great signing for us. And I really enjoyed the feeling of having him back, especially when he was going to go to City. That was horrible, that feeling. So, yeah, really happy to have Ronnie back.
Yeah, okay.
I think he should stay the extra season, work under Ten Hag, which is exciting stuff as well. But I'm very intrigued to see, and this, as United fans, is really interesting to see how Ten Hag's philosophy is going to be implemented on the team, and it will show us, I guess, because Ten Hag's all about pressing from the front and winning the ball high up as well. To see how hard Ronnie's going to work in that one season, it's going to be hard. At times he's going to be exposed and for his lack of pace or whatever. But you know what? He will put the effort in.
This is where he should only be playing 50% of the game.
Yeah, this is where, like I said, this is where you manage him and be like, okay, cool. Europa, we're in the Europa League, right?
Yeah,
just about, I think.
Just about. Right, Europa League, that's where you get your days off. We'll only play you in the Premier League games and, rest you here and there. And we can keep moving.
Said I wake up every morning, pray to God that I'm fixing up. Hope I'm never slipping up. Hear the money calling, need my peace to start getting up. Feeling like I'm blessed, but it came with a bit of luck. Feeling like you stressed, then the tension starts to fill you up. Need an intermission, yeah, they ain't the same lane as us. Come from different sticks, yeah, they're not the same range as us. They cop the pleas and top of teas, they're not hitting range with us. Keep a couple fairy